Today in the episode, special cars for all the couples of the valley. Voice of the Wasteland, where we answer your questions and find something cool on the exhibition. And we begin with Workshop. War never ends. There are two main approaches to building war machines in the Wastes. The first approach is all about dealing a lot of damage as fast as possible. The best defense is a good offense, you know? Engineers belonging to the second school of thought say that it doesn't matter if you're capable of dealing a lot of damage if you're dead. And the longer you live, the more damage you do anyway, even if you don't have the biggest gun. Today we're going to talk about a weapon that was clearly developed by the second group of engineers, the Vindicator. At first, machine guns and survivability do not mix very well. The weird thing about the Vindicator, though, is that it can easily outlive most other machine guns, like the Aspect, for example, even though their durability is pretty much the same, especially if you're using your gun a lot. The catch here is that the Vindicator has a very important mechanic. As the weapon heats up, it gets progressively more resistant to damage, and you get some extra survivability on top of that simply because of the gun's buildability and size, as you can easily put it very deep into your build without sacrificing much of your firing angles. You can't sacrifice the things you don't have, after all. Put it deeper, even deeper. It's okay, the Vindicator doesn't care. It'll keep spewing bullets and doing damage. Speaking of damage, on paper, this machine gun should be able to cause more destruction than the Aspect or the Imp. But as we've said, the Vindicator has very limited firing angles, and on any heat level, it has no inbuilt way to increase its damage output. That's why in practice, your damage numbers probably won't be as high. Remember though, that we're all about that long game. Our machine gun won't be particularly impressive in any given engagement, but it'll reliably do heaps and heaps of damage throughout the whole match. Another important feature that sets this gun apart from other weapons of the same class is that it's very energy efficient, so you get a bit of extra energy to spend on something else. Another gun, a cap can, mines, or radiators. The choice is yours. Just pick something that works for your particular build. And if you're not sure, we suggest that you should equip your car with at least one radiator. It'll allow you to keep your machine gun at max resistance just a little bit longer. In combat, once again, we are all about the long game. If there's a target and nothing stands in the way, engage them calmly and keep them under constant pressure by tap-firing the machine gun repeatedly until they're gone. And if you're a lucky owner of a true Mammoth of the Wastes, feel free to tank some shots if needed. If you have to buy some time until reinforcements arrive, for example, the Vindicator won't let you down. And now, a short commercial break.
A new song by Psycho Pete. The arena's pretty rad, half my team's already dead. A touching story of teamwork and betrayal. Now out on audio tapes.
Do you remember the time we designed a special articulated lorry in one of our earlier episodes? A lorry like in those old stories about stout bearded men wearing red armor and delivering oil in small glass bottles, for some reason? Well, that time we made a point of not using one of the most convenient and efficient ways to build a fusion vehicle, the Contact 2M. A few days ago, there was a big day for all couples of the valley, and we sincerely hope that you had a chance to properly celebrate the holiday by firing twin-barreled machine guns into the sunset. And so today we decided to show you a few vehicles that were specifically designed to be used by two drivers. A couple of drivers, if you will. So it makes perfect sense to actually use the Contact this time. The thing that makes this module really good is that it allows you to build vehicles at a significantly lower power score by assigning clear roles and only taking equipment that makes sense for your assigned role. For example, here's the frontal part of a fused vehicle. In this build, it serves as a kind of mobile shield. As such, it doesn't need a lot of firepower or a lot of specialized equipment. It only needs to be sturdy enough to protect the second part of the fusion, the gun platform, which in its turn is not equipped with movement parts and has barely any armor. On their own, both are pretty much helpless, but when these two halves are fused together, they're capable of taking out the whole enemy team. But you're probably well aware of all that, so let's not waste any more time and take a look at some vehicles that were just meant for the two of you. The first vehicle we have on display is a fusion build with a very fitting name, reminding us that it takes courage to build a relationship, especially if you're just starting out. The vehicle sits way below the 3000 PS mark, but has the combined might of 8 guns and 2 cabins. Is there actually anyone that can fight this thing and survive at this power score? Especially if the fusion build is piloted by experienced raiders? Well, maybe a battle-hardened veteran. Maybe, if they're lucky. Or have the blessing of Otagon. Or both. Not high enough on the power score ladder? No problem, let's climb higher. Here's a fusion vehicle that shows that the formula works just as well in more challenging fights. After all, destructors can be pretty damn scary, especially if you have 4 of them at 6000 PS. Furthermore, as you can see, this build can take a lot of punishment as well. The car's only flaw is that it uses movement parts that are not super fast. You simply won't be able to catch up with people doing their best to escape your loving touch. Rules are meant to be broken though. Not all fusions are about strictly defined roles. Take a look at this build. Here's the left half, and here's the right half. Both can do pretty well on their own, and on their respective power scores no less. Well, what can we say? Sparks and harvesters are a hell of a combo. And if you have to deal with something truly serious, you can always shout, "Who the hell do you think I am?" and fuse together into one terrifying monster of love to decimate the enemy in the name of kindness, empathy, and communication. The first message was sent by Aftershock617J. He says,
"Can we get mortars? It would act like incinerators, but instead of a puddle of fire, you'd get a giant explosion."
"Greetings, Survivor. Can't say much right now, but you're in for a treat this summer. Keep your eyes peeled." Then there's this question submitted by one of our regulars, That Guy Fire.
Are there any plans to add a cabinet module that boosts the projectile speed of all weapon types?
Hey man, it's tricky but possible. Maybe if it's something that only works with a specific type of weapon, like all autocannons or all unguided rocket launchers. We'll think about it. Ben Gonzalez asks, "What's your opinion on making decoy weapons out of structure parts?" Hey Ben, we think that it's a cool tactic. If it works for you, why not? The next message was sent by another regular, John O'Quinn.
Can we have more fun, crazy weather effects for our garages?
That's actually a pretty cool idea. We'll discuss it with our map team. Finally, T-Rex M says,
"Any chance on a spider leg that can climb walls and ceilings?"
You know, sometimes you just wake up at night thinking that you finally conquered your fears, and then you see this bloody thing. A spider leg on your bloody ceiling! Ah! Ah! As a form of therapy after witnessing one of the unspeakable horrors of the wastes, let's make a trip to the exhibition and pick something really nice and fun. Well, that was the plan. But then we ran into this little thing. A car called Growth, designed by a talented engineer, Takashi Amano. And it's not very nice. On the contrary, this vehicle looks as if it's been born from Psycho Pete's worst nightmares. It's clearly hostile, revolting, and it's growing. It's also really well built. We love it. By the way, check out other builds by the same creator. They're wild. And that's it for today. Tell us what you think in the comments below, ask us questions, and after we finish playing with all the new things that arrived to the Wastes with the latest patch, we'll return with new crazy content in a couple of weeks. If you like what we're doing, consider subscribing, leave a like, and good luck.